Today, we're going grocery shopping. Whoa. Let's talk tips first. Now, I personally like going to the grocery store on busy days. The reason I like going on busy days is the likelihood of people being more willing to help you is higher. So if there's ever anything on a high shelf or anything on a low shelf that I'm unable to grab or reach, the likelihood of someone being in that aisle at that time on a busier day is better. So I don't have to go hunt up and down and look at different aisles and try to find someone to help me grab like some peanut butter or to help me grab some hot sauce. Another thing I like to do is have some large reusable grocery bags. The reason I like having large reusable grocery bags is that they've got a rigid flat bottom that whenever I load all of my groceries into, I can sit them on my lap if I need to transition them to my car or transition them back into my home. The plastic bags that they give you at the store are real soft and real floppy and loose, and you can only fit like one bag that maybe has like 3 or 4 items at a time. And no one likes going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. We're trying to eliminate as many steps as possible because living life in a wheelchair is just already like added steps. It's more complicated. Simple things become more complicated because you just have to add more steps. This is a way to eliminate that by giving yourself some more room to put your groceries in. When I go grocery shopping, I shop for the whole week. I meal prep for the whole week. And I have 3 large bags. And in those 3 large bags, I can fit all my food in there. Another thing I like to do is I actually don't like using the scooter style, you know, the ones that they plug into the wall that normally you see like really large people or elderly people using to scoot around. Those can be nice because they got a little basket in the front, but they're large, they're pretty big. And when you're a person who uses a wheelchair all the time, you then have to get out of your wheelchair and then leave it somewhere at the grocery store, and I don't trust people. I'm sorry, I don't. This is a very expensive wheelchair worth thousands of dollars that's custom made to me, and I don't want anyone who's ignorant to walk off with it. I don't want anyone with bad intentions to take it, and I don't want anyone using it, someone thinking that it's one of the public wheelchairs. Now, if you absolutely have to do that, I recommend talking to someone at customer service and being like, hey, I've got this custom wheelchair that is very expensive and very important, and can you keep it behind the counter here while I go grocery shopping? I do not recommend leaving your wheelchair anywhere. If a customer service is not willing to do that, you can grab like a bagger or an employee and have them bring out the cart to the motorized cart with the battery power that plugs into the wall to your car, and then you can get out of your vehicle and into that and leave your wheelchair in the car. Okay, now we can go. All right, so we're out here in the parking lot right now, and before we go in, I want to show you the mechanics of how I push a cart around. So basically what you do is you put one hand on the cart, the other hand on your wheelchair, and you push the wheels. And what happens is you use the cart to steer and you use your wheels as propulsion. All right, another pro tip for you guys is whenever you're approaching something, approach it from the side instead of head on. Because what that does is that gives you the ability to literally just reach over and grab things, as opposed to leaning forward and grabbing things. If you lean forward and grab things, that's just like extra steps that's unnecessary. Why would you want to do that? All right, these things that I'm about to grab right now are still within reach, but just barely. Never be afraid to ask anyone for help. More than likely, people are gonna have a willingness to want to help you. It's not a difficult thing. And you just be like, hey, excuse me, can I have you grab something for me, please? And then you simply ask. It's that thing on the top shelf, it's the thing on the bottom shelf, it's the specific brand. Eventually you'll see I'll probably do it at least one point in this video. A cool tip to know is if you open up freezer doors all the way, they stay open all the way. Hey, excuse me, dude, can I have you grab some juice down for me on one of these top aisles? Thank you, appreciate that. Could I grab the Simply apple juice, please? Thank you very much. Thank you. Also, another pro tip is if you are in an aisle and there's a lot of people in that aisle and you don't feel like pushing your entire cart plus your wheelchair in the aisle, you can just park your cart at the end of the aisle. No one's ever gonna walk up to it and be like, oh my gosh, it's exactly all the things that I came in here for. Let me just steal this cart full of all the items that I exactly came in here for, which is ridiculous. You can definitely just let it chill, go pick up a few things. I just went to go get something that I forgot a couple aisles down and I just parked it here. It's no big deal. Not a big deal. All right, here's a move. So I'm currently in an aisle and there is no one here right now. I've got two options if I want to grab something off the top shelf. One, I can go try to find someone, or two, I can get innovative. Now this is something that I don't necessarily recommend to everybody, because if you have a wheelchair that's not capable of doing this move, you can definitely hurt your bottom and give yourself a skin wound, and I don't necessarily recommend that to everybody, but this is a little clever move that it works for me sometimes. I'll sit on my wheel, and that gives me a little bit of extra height. Now this next move is a little annoying because there's the peanut butter that I want is always on the lowest end, so we'll see what we can do to get this. You notice there, what I did is when I was leaning over completely to one side, I was grabbing onto my wheel on the other side, and that gives me just a little bit of extra balance. I'll show it to you guys again. Use this hand to grip to this part. Just lean over and scoop stuff up from the bottom. Alright, so there's currently some honey on a high shelf that even my butt move can't resolve, so I'm waiting for someone to come through. Oh, here we go. Hey, excuse me, sir, could I have you grab some honey for me, please? Yeah, if I could get the Blue Ridge Mountain raw honey that's kind of in that large jar with the white top on it, please. All right, so I have all my things. I've gone ahead and reviewed my basket. Look at the shopping list. I personally prefer to go to the self-checkout, and the reason why I prefer to go to the self-checkout is that helps me organize those bags in such a way that they are full to the max and that they have the most things in it, that they're balanced properly for when I sit them on my lap to get them back into my place. So self-checkout is, for me personally, the way I like to go, and we'll move forward from there. I've also found that people tend to be more patient when you're in the self-checkout line versus in the regular line, because in the regular line, people are waiting behind you and there's a cashier waiting for you. When in the self-checkout, you can take as long as you need to get your bags organized, and no one seems to mind. Oh, alright, got finished up in the self-checkout line. Now I'm pushing myself back out to the car. At the moment, we're gonna get loaded up. I'm gonna show you how to do transfers of your grocery bags into the car. It's pretty simple, and then we'll show you how to get it back into, grab your bags, put them wherever they're supposed to go, and take your carts back. This is also for you able-bodied people too. Why do you guys leave the carts in the parking lot? What is that shenanigans? Take 10 seconds, put it back in the rack. If I can do it, you can do it. No excuses. All right, we are back at the apartment and all the groceries have been put away, and what we taught, or what we learned how to do today is we learned how to prepare for the grocery store. We learned how to push the shopping cart around. We learned how to ask people for help if necessary. We learned different tips and tricks on how to get extra items on the top shelf or up the bottom shelf. We learned checkout processes, we learned loading the groceries into the cart, and we learned processes of getting the groceries back into your home. Now, there was a little scene that was done at the self-checkout when I just let the camera run for, I don't know, probably 13 or so minutes, and I had a really fun little candid conversation with one of the ladies running the self-checkout, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you guys watch that. I'm gonna edit a little bits and pieces together because a lot of it's just me just sitting there doing nothing. But it'll help you understand a little bit of my perspective of why I'm doing this channel, and it'll help you understand where my vision is and what I wanna do with this channel and where I wanna take it further. I mean, this is something this is near to my heart. This is special to me because to me, I am doing my best to become the individual that I needed when I first got hurt. The guide to life, kind of like the mentor, because I didn't know how to live, truthfully. My whole life was taken from me in a moment. Half of my body didn't work, and I was lost and confused and desperate and didn't know what to do. And in order for me to get back to life, I had to regain independence, I had to regain confidence, and I had to regain a sense of purpose and a sense of self, and this channel is that for me. You know, I'm finally taking a negative, I'm taking something that was a complete and utter tragedy, and I wouldn't wish this upon my worst enemy, but the reality is that there's people like me everywhere. And, you know, if I can take my pain and turn it into a positive and feel like I'm living in purpose and feeling creative, and that's something that's super special to me. And I'm gonna go ahead and roll the footage of that that little candid conversation, and I'm done being mushy. But until the next video, I'll see you guys next time. Yeah, I'm doing like a channel that my audience is like a younger version of me. So when I first got hurt, I didn't know how to live life. I didn't know how to grocery shop, I didn't know how to cook, I didn't know how to clean, I didn't know how to go to concerts, I didn't know how to do anything, right? So I'm now teaching people that are freshly injured how to live their life to the fullest. So today is a grocery shopping trip. Last week I did a concert, and I'll just keep doing more videos as I keep living life. I'll just keep making videos about what I do and how I do it, and tips and tricks and stuff like that. I want to do it to add value to people's lives.
Exactly.
I want to be like a guide. Like, because I remember when I first got hurt, I just leeched on to everything anyone ever said. Like if someone like was injured like a year longer than me, or even like 5 years longer than me, anytime they did anything or they said anything that I'd never seen done before, I would just mimic them and copy them and be like, ooh, amazing. So this is kind of my way of a creative outlet where I can be like, okay, how can I?
Especially for people who feel like they can't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. That's what I'm really trying to do, because I know for myself for a long time there was plenty of things I thought I couldn't do.
Yeah.
You know, but I'm in the chair for 8 years now, and now it's one of those things.
You're
where,
like flying through the store now.
Yeah, I mean, I just do my own thing. So it's really about bringing, I guess, like order and help people like realize that they can live like a full life and not have, and it's not completely ruined.
Yeah.
Most people in chairs are not born that way.
Exactly.
There are a few, but most aren't, and it's usually young males, because we're really like we're risk takers.
He was fit. He was still working out. Like he was like, there's no excuses for why you can't, you know, do stuff. Like people who have like the full capacity.
It's like you got all your arms and all your legs,
and they're just slacking.
Yeah, I always get really random funny comments. Like I was out in the Beltline the other day, and I had like my shirt off because it was nice, and I was pushing around, and this lady goes, a buff dude in a wheelchair? That doesn't make a lot of sense. Like, and that made me laugh because it doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But that makes me really happy because like it's breaking it's breaking a stereotype.
They expect for you to not be fit.
The stereotype is fat, lazy, dirty, smelly, grungy, like lazy, like people taking care of you, and that's kind of the other idea of the channel is being able to teach people like independence.
Yeah.
Like to not feel like they have to be
Hey, Pat,
a burden on anybody.